Hey gang, Sam Ward here, and unless you have been living under a rock, you know that it is election week, this upcoming week. And so people will be going to the polls to make a decision about who our next president will be. And I think for a lot of us, it's hard to believe that someone would vote for the other guy. And I've heard people even say that. One thing that's been helpful for me, especially today, is this book, Open and Unafraid, The Psalms as a Guide to Life by W. David O. Taylor. And he talks about the church and the Psalms in this way. He says that we choose our friends, but we don't get to choose the people in our congregations. And that is so true. He writes, a congregation, like Emmanuel, is a specific kind of community. We may share certain theological convictions. We may be drawn by particular cultural preferences. We may be united by language or ethnicity, but if it's a healthy congregation, which Emmanuel is, it will include people who don't like what we like, who don't think like we do, who talk about God in ways that we find weird, dull, or off-putting. This is a deeply good thing. And maybe even people who disagree with us when it comes to politics or who to vote for or what the most important issues are. And I think that's partially what makes the church unique, that the church is one of the places where hopefully we can come together and have some of these conversations and yet love each other and respect each other in the midst of that. He goes on to say this. For some in our communities, it's difficult to believe that God has any desire to hear how sad or angry or lost they are. For others, it is difficult to believe that the community has any interest in hearing how happy they are. It may feel like an intrusion, and they don't wish to inconvenience others. But the Psalms and the church, I hope, welcome all of it. Eugene Peterson wrote a paraphrase of the Bible, and in Psalm 22, verse 26, he writes, down and outers sit at God's table and eat their fill. Everyone on the hunt for God is here, praising him. Live it up from head to toe. Don't ever quit. That's my hope for us, that wherever we fall on these issues, that we would come together, the down and outers, the ones who are on the hunt for God, those who are praising him, those who are Republicans, those who are Democrats, that we would live it up together from head to toe and not ever quit praising God. So to help us do that, Mark Vincenti has created this election guide. It's a prayer guide. It's not an election guide like you might think of it. It's a prayer guide, a nonpartisan prayer guide. And it's going to help us this week walk through some things to pray about as we get ready to go into the voting booth as individuals. Let us be united. This is the kind of community that we are here at Emmanuel, but the Church of Jesus Christ.